Hello, my name is Dale Hawthorne and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, if you're coming back, welcome back. I hope that you find videos that help you, that lift you up, and that guide you in the right direction. And I know it's been a little while since I've recorded, but I shaved off the beard, which I was starting in the last one. So today, I want to mention something which I've never really heard much of in the self improvement, personal development area, and rarely even from the pulpit, unfortunately. But if I really only heard anyone discuss this at all, is Jordan Peterson talking about how he cleaned up his way of speaking and he ended up talking a lot less. And this is my challenge, especially to the men that may be hearing this. You can pass this on. I do think it's a real problem for women also, but this is for men. Cut the BS. And as you're thinking about what I might mean by that and letting that soak through, please click like and subscribe, and I'll have more things to say to you over time. So this is a challenge that I'm directing primarily at Christian men, and I think that can apply to others too. But simply, we're going to look at this one verse, Ephesians 4:25. Therefore, having put away falsehood, each one of you speak the truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. Speak the truth to your neighbor. Be truthful. That doesn't mean you blurt out every stupid thing that comes to your mind. But what it does mean is that what you say is truthful, loving, and as in verse 29, giving grace, building others up. So what I'm going to be talking about is primarily from the workplace and from my experience there. And my experience is that there are men, Christian men, who really need to work on this, primarily in the workplace. Simply being honest, and they may actually need to properly represent themselves, speak the truth in the workplace, and also when they go away from the workplace, they may represent themselves and others from the workplace, their wives and families at home. And this advice really is suitable simply for anyone who values honesty, productivity, results, and competence. And so this comes down to mean no BS. We know what BS means: dishonesty, rampant dishonesty, misconstruing things, deliberately misrepresenting things, ground nosing, or sucking up to people in authority. That's misrepresenting yourself there. Respect, but not brown nosing, and not trying to get an inside position which is unfair to others there. No backstabbing. That's misrepresenting others. That's bearing false witness. And too often I've seen too many Christian men in the workplace easily accept backstabbing from others. When others come up behind them, beside them, and say, "Did you know about this?" and or "I want to tell you about this," and they really haven't given the other person a chance to consider. It's the first time, maybe the other person is even hearing this kind of opinion. It may not be a right opinion. And Proverbs does talk about needing to listen to both sides. It'll mean also no beat downs, dogpiling on other people based on other things, but I'm working for what's fair and right and true. Yeah, truth, justice, the American way, like Superman. Well, maybe you need to consider that. Maybe we need to bring back that and consider that as something that a Christian man should be living for. Maybe not the American way so much, but truth and justice according to the God of the Bible. And in the workplace, most of the BS, brown nosing, backstabbing, and beatdowns I saw were from men and often toward other men. Some women did it. I was in mainly a male saturated workplace profession, so the women that I saw doing it were the type of women who thought they had to be witches in order to compete in the workplace. So in that case, we're probably copying men in that way. And I rarely saw from women directed towards men, they would try to trash and bring them down sometimes if they were ambitious and they really wanted that man's place. But the type of BS that I saw coming from the men in the workplace, the dishonesty, the brown nosing, the BS, the backstabbing, beatdowns, so on, often shocked some of the women I knew. I remember one woman who got her first contact with a group of three men who were an unholy trinity reinforcing each other, and she was shocked by the BS. BS, oh man! And she shocked by the BS men would sling in the workplace often to cover, in these cases, to cover their lack of competence, knowledge, productivity, and results. So I often, during my work experience, rubbed shoulders with people who claim to be believers in Christ, fellow Christians. And I came to the conclusion over time that a lot of Christian wives and church leaders would be surprised, even shocked, about how some men who claim to be believers acted in the workplace. May not have majored much in profanity, there might have been some. May not have harassed women, there might have been some. But dishonesty was the biggest thing I saw. And I saw maybe 60 to 70% of men sometimes who claim to be believers in different places. And I was actually surprised sometimes if I met them at church after I saw them doing things like stretching, compromising, running roughshod over the truth, overstating their skills and qualifications and understating those of others who were more qualified, easily joining in with the unbelievers, people who didn't know Christ, some of the most wicked people in the workplace, to bash, bring down, put down fellow believers, even those who were more skilled and productive. And sometimes, I don't think this was common, but I saw some who were net negative producers, that they were costing the company more than they were putting in as far as productivity and results. And sometimes, again, some of them were pretty difficult backstabbers themselves. That there is something they could do to bring down someone else, to trash someone else, cast doubt on someone else's work, take credit for someone's work like that, they would do that. And they claim to be believers. And just wanted to bring out here very briefly, if you look at Psalm 55, verses 20 to 21, it talks about the psalmist there, about someone who was a backstabber. And this is what the psalmist had to say: my companion stretched out his hand against his friends. He violated his covenant. His speech was smooth as butter, yet war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. And yet, that's something that Jesus says we're not to be, and something he can save us from. That type of envy, ambition, competition, and selfishness and arrogance that sees backstabbing others as a way to get ahead. And usually over time I've seen the backstabbers fall, they get exposed, and they sometimes have to move on. But we as believers, Jesus calls us to be transformed and to show that in what we say, what we do, and how we live in the workplace. Simple skills and diligence, those are emphasis of Proverbs. Look at Proverbs over and over. Skills and diligence. Simple honesty, and describe the circumstances truthfully. Talk about reality. Simple honesty is simply a proper description of reality in the workplace, about your own personal skills, what you can do, and sometimes you may need to put yourself forward to do something if you're more experienced and knowledgeable than others, and that's just acting according to the truth. It's not trying to cut in on someone and cut them out of something, but it's simply saying, hey, I've had to do that a couple times, but not frequently, because usually in the workplace, if you work hard and you show skills, somebody will notice. And again, simple honesty when describing the character and capabilities of other people. If you're finding someone else that's being dishonest, backstabbing, it's not something to triumph. I've had to talk about that too, and it's been sorrow. Something I never wanted to say, and always I hoped that I would be found wrong on those types of things. It's nothing you gloat about. It's nothing you um, try to do to, again, take advantage of other people, get an unfair advantage in the workplace. Talking about the personal skills, character, capability of others. And again, this is just simply communicating reality according to what your eyes and ears see. Those convey a picture of reality, and dealing with that more than what others want to hear, what will give them unfair advantage of others. Yes, men can really be costly. Some people in leadership in the um, in politics, in the military, and in business do seek for people who will tell them what they want to hear. And just recently heard something talking about Douglas MacArthur in the World War II about how lives were cost by some of the people he put his trust in. And in World War One, in the Battle of Jutland, David Beatty, who was command over the battle cruisers there, um, there was some problems there because he trusted some people who didn't really justify that trust. So, um, some more things to do in the workplace. But, cutting the BS um, means you'll get a whole new perspective on work. When you're working with others in a team, look to make a worthwhile contribution, a significant contribution if that opportunity is there, to help move things toward success. I've been on projects where people said that, I've helped that project toward quality, and things like that. And a couple projects I've been on have been externally recognized from outside the company and received awards. Wonderful. I'm not here to brag, but I'm just saying, if you make a contribution, you don't have to be in charge to get recognition, to make a contribution, to be appreciated. And when you're wrong, when you're mistaken, when you make a mistake, when you mess up, as far as possible, seek to try to fix it if you can. That's one of the best things I heard when I first started working in software development years ago. They said, we rookie developers, we know that you'll be making mistakes. Just help us fix them as far as you can. Be honest about them, and and learn from them too. Yeah, apologize if it's something that you could have done better, but apologize, fix it as far as possible, learn from it for the future to avoid making the same mistake. Um, there's something called the personal software process. There's a book on that which talks about how programmers succeed and make themselves better by looking over the bugs they may have introduced during their programming and fixing those and learning what to do better. Yeah, true. Also, pursue leadership where it's worthwhile, that there may be a place for you to provide direction. You don't have to be in charge 100% of the time. If there's a place where you can make a contribution in leadership, go ahead. Let the opportunity be there. But if you do go there, if you do get authority and responsibility of leadership, not just authority, not to tell people what to do, but also responsibility, do it with fairness, with compassion, without favoritism. We all have the people that we like and dislike, and leadership is a challenge for dealing with people that we may not like as much as others. But seek to be as fair, compassionate as possible, and help others to get ahead, to find the places where they can have responsibility, recognition, and suitable for them in terms of their desires and capabilities. In their workplace, people may find themselves in places for a little while where they don't fit very well. And one of the things early as I was getting into software development, I was able to help a pretty disgruntled employee find a place where she liked better, and it was just within the same department, some different responsibilities, but she hated what she was doing. She was kind of disgruntled about it, but she sucked it up and went on. And then she was able to find shortly, as some things changed there, I was able to say, hey, she'd be suitable for this. She wants to do something like this. So, and share your skills, help to train others in there, and Be someone who looks to generally make others better as well as yourself. Keep up with your skills, but also help others too. And learn the laws, corporate rules, professional ethics in regard to profession and career. Just about every place has some sort of law which applies, which you need to understand. And there are rules that whatever business you're in, and there are often codes of professional ethics. Learn those, follow those, and show yourself to be someone who models what your profession is supposed to be, and treat others with due respect too. We wouldn't have very much talk about harassment, Me Too, or anything like that if we simply knew courtesy and respect from the very beginning. There will be false accusations. People will try to do that for an advantage, but we'd see a lot less if we simply looked to ourselves and sought to treat others with respect and courtesy as much as we can. So, if you're a believer, be an influence for good in the workplace with a regard for human life and safety. There are professions and places where that can really be a place where you may need to be called to in situations where you need to expose dishonesty of others, which it does happen. We got people like Cynthia McKinnon, who's a believer, and some of the other whistleblowers who have come forward. And just think of some of the things that have been exposed about Boeing lately. Back in the 1940s, the Japanese captured a B-17 heavy bomber, four-engine bomber made by the U.S., made by Boeing. And they marveled at the workmanship, the precision, and they really thought that this was high quality in the B-17. But look at what we're hearing about, some of the things about quality and procedures at Boeing right now. I don't know anything about that personally, but I do know that dishonesty costs in the long run human life, safety, profits, job security, so on. So it's often easier to let a problem be known where it can be fixed rather than wait till someone's life and safety are compromised. So remember also that Jesus is your ultimate supervisor, and you should really be looking at the end of this all thing. You may go from company to company, supervisor to super, but to hear him say, "Well done." So last scriptures, Titus chapter 3, verses 1 and 2. Remind people, this is Paul talking to Titus, them believers, to be submissive to rulers and authorities, to be obedient, to be ready for every good work, to speak evil of no one, to avoid quarreling, to be gentle, and to show perfect courtesy toward all people. Yeah, we can make a real difference if we show that. I'd like to see over time that 60 to 70%, which I was talking about in some places, believers who are acting in a way which I think really would have shocked their wives and families and others in the church by the dishonesty. I'd like to see that brought down, way down. Where in the Soviet Union, a taxi driver once told someone that they considered Christians to be their best people, their best employees, their best friends. And if Jesus is our Lord, if we're filled with the Spirit, that should be our goal, to be the best we can be as we're following here on earth and to fulfill His will. So, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I hope this is helpful. I hope this can give you some guidance, some warning. So, basically, first thing is cut the BS, and then go on to be someone who shows Jesus in your life.